This micro-credential deals with forensic tool concepts and consists of 5 targeted skills. This targeted skill deals with the chain of custody. The chain of custody is a crucial concept in computer forensics that ensures the integrity and admissibility of digital evidence in legal proceedings. It refers to the chronological documentation and tracking of evidence from the moment it is collected until its presentation in court. The chain of custody establishes a clear and verifiable trail that demonstrates the proper handling, storage, and transfer of evidence. An explanation of the computer forensics chain of custody is described next. 1. Evidence collection. The chain of custody begins with the collection of digital evidence from the crime scene or the affected system. This may involve capturing volatile data, imaging hard drives, extracting files, or seizing physical devices. It is essential to document the exact location, date, time, and individuals involved in the evidence collection process. 2. Initial documentation. Each piece of evidence must be identified, labeled, and described in detail. This includes assigning a unique identifier, recording the source of the evidence, noting any physical or digital markings, and documenting any observations or context relevant to the evidence. 3. Packaging and sealing. Proper packaging and sealing of evidence are critical to maintain its integrity. Evidence should be securely packaged in tamper-evident containers or bags to prevent unauthorized access or tampering. The packaging should be properly labeled with the unique identifier and sealed with initials or signatures across the seal. 4. Documentation of custody transfers. Whenever evidence changes hands, whether between investigators, analysts, or storage facilities, each transfer must be documented. This includes recording the names, contact information, and positions of individuals involved in the transfer, as well as the date, time, and condition of the evidence at the time of transfer. 5. Secure storage. Proper storage of evidence is essential to preserve its integrity. Evidence should be stored in a secure and controlled environment that protects it from unauthorized access, damage, or alteration. Access to the storage area should be restricted, and measures such as video surveillance and logging should be in place to monitor access. 6. Access and handling controls. Only authorized personnel should have access to the evidence, and their access and actions should be documented. Strict controls should be implemented to ensure that evidence is not compromised, contaminated, or accidentally altered during handling. This includes procedures for preventing accidental modification, using write-blocking devices, and maintaining a clean testing environment. 7. Documentation of analysis and examination. Any analysis or examination conducted on the evidence must be thoroughly documented. This includes detailed notes on the tools, techniques, and methodologies employed, as well as any findings, observations, or conclusions drawn from the analysis process. The documentation should be contemporaneous and provide a clear and traceable record of the analysis steps. 8. Transfer to court. If the evidence is required in a legal proceeding, it must be transferred to the court while maintaining the chain of custody. Proper documentation of the transfer, including the individuals involved, date, time, and method of transfer, is crucial. The evidence should be securely packaged and sealed. Any tampering or damage should be reported immediately. 9. Admissibility and testimony. During legal proceedings, the chain of custody documentation serves as evidence to establish the authenticity and integrity of the digital evidence. The individuals involved in handling the evidence may be required to testify about the chain of custody process to ensure its credibility and reliability. 10. Retention and disposal. Depending on legal requirements, the digital evidence may need to be retained for a specified period. Proper retention procedures should be followed to ensure the security and integrity of the evidence. When the retention period expires, the evidence should be properly disposed of using approved methods to prevent any unauthorized access or recovery. Finally, the computer forensics chain of custody is essential to maintain the integrity of digital evidence and ensure its admissibility in legal proceedings. By adhering to strict documentation, secure handling, and authorized transfers, Investigators can establish a clear and verifiable trail that protects the evidentiary value of digital evidence. If the chain of custody documentation has any errors or omissions, the evidence may be inadmissible in court. Accuracy is critical.